My best friend back in the days of Pokemon Yellow spent his time showing me how the game worked, and one of the things he showed me was spamming B when you were catching a Pokemon, because apparently that would increase the chances of catching said Pokemon. And throughout the course of our lives, I'm almost certain to this day he's still convinced that's true. And when I first got Pokemon Ruby, I did try that theory to hold down B or press it lots when you're catching to make it a bigger chance of catching. And after maybe a few times, I realized, yeah, this makes absolutely no difference. I'm pretty certain he still does. But the thing that more relevant to me, that I believed as a kid growing up was back when zombies in Call of Duty was a lot smaller. The fan base was smaller and a lot more gullible. So more stuff came up on forums about ridiculous things that could happen if you do X, Y, and Z. And one of them in Call of Duty World at War in Derice, there was a door in the furnace room, and apparently if you reached round 80, this door would open and Hitler would come out, be it a zombified or mech Hitler like in Wolfenstein, and you'd have a Hitler boss fight. Obviously a lie. But another one that I had personally, because I started with Black Ops, on Kino der Toten, on the stage there were ladders around the walls, and there was a rumor going around if you used if you got all the film reels into the projector, survive past round 30, these ladders would drop down, you could climb up onto the catwalks and be invulnerable, zombies couldn't get you. Which of course was a lie. And probably the one that most people who've played zombies knows was from the original map, which was if you went to the box, you prone on the floor, you spin the box, you stand up, you spin around twice, shoot the helmet on the floor, ray gun every time. Rubbish. All of it rubbish, all bollocks. And after when the community matured, the rumors stopped. But back then we thought we'd fight Mecha Hitler, and we're still waiting for it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad that you didn't fight Mecha Hitler.
I want to fight Mecha Hitler.
When I was playing Fallout 3 over 10 years ago now, so I was 13 years old-ish, and I had just come off the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which I really loved. Ash is looking at me because I know I've got the maths wrong there, but I'm just going to go with it anyway. I was 13-ish years old, and I'd just come off the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which I loved, and you could do so much in that game. And I didn't know anything about this new game from Bethesda, but I knew that it was post-apocalyptic, which I liked at the time. I knew it had guns, which, I like game with guns at the time. I'm a 13-year-old-ish boy. So I jumped into it, and I was kind of wondering what secrets I could uncover. And at the time, I didn't have internet in my house. Well, I did, but it was dial-up, and it wasn't worth, sitting around the laptop waiting for pages to load one single line at a time. So I didn't have guides or anything like that. So I just went by hearsay as to what quests and what characters you should meet. And there was one that I heard, I can't remember if it was from a friend or if it was a dodgy post online, but it said you could transform into a ghoul, which in the Fallout universe is an irradiated form of human who is mutated to the point where they can essentially live forever, but they have radiation poisoning and their skin is all different and they're discriminated against by regular humans. And I thought, this would be interesting and makes a lot of sense, because if you remember, in Oblivion, you could transform into a vampire. So I thought, there is precedent here. How do I get to this state? Well, the rumor suggested that all you had to do was max out your radiation, which admittedly took a long time because there's radiated spots all around the map. So I found myself a snug little pit full to the brim with these contaminated containers and just kind of sat around for around 20 minutes while this radiation counter slowly ticked up, and it got to 100, and then you just die. And I thought, well, I mustn't have done this right. So I went back there, loaded up the save, and did it again. Waited very patiently when it went to 100. Remember, I didn't have internet at the time, so I couldn't just whip out the phone and check that. I was literally just watching the screen, waiting for my transformation, which never came. And I genuinely did this for 2 hours straight, figuring out different ways. How am I getting it wrong? Am I wearing clothes? Should I do it while my character's naked? Should I do it while he's holding a top hat or something? I was just trying to move these variations around to see if it would come true, and then just sort of had this pit in my stomach that it's not happening. I've wasted all this time. Life, even at that point, was very precious, and I'd just been killing my character over and over again in kind of more perverse ways. If someone came in, if my mother walked in on me with this naked avatar that I'm subjecting to a radiation death, she would have rightfully called the police, but she thankfully didn't walk in, and I had to check online a few weeks later to find out that is not true, and you can't do it, and you couldn't do it in Fallout New Vegas or 4, which I tried just out of, I tried to make a tradition out of it, so I wasn't completely wasting my time. So you should too. You should do that as well.
So I was 16 at this point, and this goes to show just how awkward I was as a 16-year-old. I played a lot of Minecraft at that age when it came onto the Xbox 360. Had a great big old creative time building my own creations. I tried building all sorts of stuff because the Halo Reach and Halo 3 Forge systems had exhausted their purpose. I tried making the Batcave on that. I tried making goodness knows what else in Forge, and it was a great time, but I thought, you know what? Minecraft, that's more my speed. The gentleman's game, as it were. So I used to go around and create loads of stuff. And when you're an antisocial 16-year-old and your friends kind of just go off and do their own thing, and the Xbox 360 service was so laggy when Minecraft first came out, so when you actually were in other people's worlds, if you weren't the host, that it just wouldn't load. It was really annoying. So I spent a lot of my time in that game on my own, just kind of roaming around the wilderness, doing the survival elements, building my own stuff, having a great peaceful time, listening to the soundtrack, killing some pigs, Lord of the Flies style, and then just eating their pork because you gotta stay healthy, Scott. You gotta stay healthy. And then you just notice creepy things every now and then. And one of the big prevailing rumors at the time, one of the big myths, was that there was a doppelganger. Is it Steve? Are you Steve? There's a doppelganger Steve out there called Herr, and he follows you around everywhere, and he's the source of all your ills, spawning mobs, deconstructing what you've constructed. And I was convinced, I tell you, I was convinced that this guy was following me around doing all sorts of stuff, to the point where I think I even deluded myself into hallucinating that I saw him staring at me from afar. I was like, I see you. I see you. And it obviously it was all bollocks.
Did you prepare for battle at any point?
No, I just thought that if I thought he was just a bit of a weirdo, just getting his kicks, just staring at me from afar, which is a little bit weird, but again, didn't exist. I have no idea why I convinced myself that. Maybe it's because I was bored, maybe I was looking for a friend.
Oh,
there we go. It's not okay.
You got there. Yeah. You've got many friends. I have so many warm tales to tell around the campfire in regards to this one. This is Bigfoot in San Andreas, which my entire year group fell for when we were in high school. And so it became a thing where in amongst all our different friendship groups, we started thinking, well, what if we're the first people to find it? And I don't know how it came about, because even back then, was it 2004? I don't even remember what state the internet was in, but it wasn't broadband connections. It wasn't like instant access to information. I don't think... We're getting there. I think I still...
We were post dial-up.
Were we?
Post.
Either way, we didn't know the truth about Bigfoot. So at the time, it was so easy to believe. I think it's that mix of like playground conversations and wanting to believe, and the fact that we never had a game world on console as big as San Andreas. It was, oh my god, anything could be out there. And so I remember me and my friend Stephen at the time, literally, we'd somehow found out that we'd heard that if you stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning and you went to the back of beyond, which is the place that is out in the middle of the woods, and we had specific coordinates where you were supposed to stay and wait, and so we stayed up this one night, and we had the game console on, and we walked CJ out into the middle of nowhere, and it's all very desolate and quiet, and we waited in the middle of this little valley, and we just sort of like looked around waiting for Bigfoot to arrive. Now Bigfoot did not arrive, but that game, the way that it renders quote-unquote the aeroplanes, if you're far enough away, they're just lights in the sky. So we were moving the camera around to try and see what the hell was around us, slowly getting more and more freaked out as it goes on, because, you're in the middle of the whistling winds back of beyond. And as we moved the camera upwards, a little light just came out from behind the tree, and we shit ourselves, because, oh my god, the UFOs are real. Leatherface is out here too somewhere. And we both grabbed each other and went, ah, for a little while. And then it was like, oh no, it's just a plane, isn't it? There's no Bigfoot there at all. And so yeah, it would be that. I fully believe that Bigfoot was out there, and I love that they did a whole callback to him in GTA 5. But yeah, I mean, I still want to believe that he's out there somewhere. But that thing was real for me. That was Toy Story levels of real for a while.
Now, I'm not a very gullible person at all.
Find that hard to believe, Ashley?
It's a lie. I'm really gullible. I'll believe anything you tell me. If it's spun in a well enough story, I'll believe it. Recently, there was a whole thing about Lord Alan Sugar, purposefully shitting himself on The Apprentice, which went round as like a tweet meme, and I was fully believed. I was telling everyone about it. I was like, did you know Lord Alan Sugar used to do this to bother people? All the assistants would come in and he just shit himself. That's not true, but I believed it because someone made a really convincing tweet about it. So young me was even worse for this sort of thing. I believed anything you'd tell me because I was a wholesome, sweet, pure child of God and light and innocence. And this pure, sweet child of light basically discovered creepypastas. And oh my God, I was so scared as a kid growing up because I found creepypastas and I believed everyone I read. And obviously the most famous one is Ben Drowned. It's the most famous video gaming one. It's about Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda. And it's about this boy who goes to a garage sale, and finds a old cartridge of Majora's Mask and puts it in and finds this save file on there for Ben. And there's a creepy old man who's like, "Aha! Take this for free, Ben." And he's like, "Why are you calling me Ben?" And opens it up and it's Ben's game. And there's basically this evil computer entity that lives in there and is playing with him for fun. And there's a boy that died who is haunting the cartridge, and it's terrifying, basically. It's really scary, and if you interacted with it too much, then the entity could have escaped from the computer and will infect your other things, and it talked to people through Cleverbot, and there was this whole story about you being able to download it and it ruining your computer and basically living this evil AI through the internet. And I was terrified of it, and it stopped me from playing Zelda for so long. Everyone has all these warm childhood memories of Zelda and Majora's Mask and playing these games and just having a lovely time and nostalgia. Oh, Link, what a lovely fella. Not me, no. Link is Ben for me. Link is Ben. He's a terrifying evil ghost child that lives inside this game. But yeah, since then I learned it was a creepypasta and was like, that was a bit silly. I wonder if Jeff the Killer's real. But yeah, that was me growing up, believed fully in Ben Drowned and to not touch Zelda games.
I have a few questions about this.
Yeah, okay.
First, this kind of sounds like a Simpsons episode, and two, just don't buy Zelda from a garage sale. You just buy it from the shop, then you won't get Ben's save.
But you don't know. I don't know. Like, once it's free on the computer, it could infect anything. This is the thing. Is this evil entity that was born from the Zelda game, and it's like, Lavender Town with the backwards music, and if you played it, it'd be like haunted and stuff. Anything like that, I tried to find like ghosts and stuff in the games because I was convinced that you could have computer ghosts living inside video games for years, like an embarrassingly long time. I was like, people would be like, "Do you believe that?" But no, sorry, no, that's not true. But no, I fully, truly believed in all the myths of creepypasta. If it was sold to me in a story, I thought it was real. Like chain emails, I was that horrible person who sent them all the time because I was like, "I'm going to die if I don't send this email." I'm going on for so long. All these memories are coming back. I believe everything. Ben Drowned, Josh. Ben Drowned.